Hey, Ken. Yeah, you decide on your work. Yeah, talked about this yesterday. Workouts, decided you're doing it. So you did your workout and you sent. And you just thought of good ways of doing your intentions. Because I know you wrote down what you wanted to do with your work, but it was not in the final form, simple form. It was a paragraph, nothing too long, but it was, yeah, it wasn't fleshed out to a nice, simple intention. But when you're in the shower, it came to you, and then you're like, oh, repeat that, repeat that, repeat that. You remembered to keep repeating it because you've seen this enough times in the past that how you have these thoughts and you're like, okay, cool, I'll write that down. But then by the time you got out of the shower, you've forgotten because your mind went on to something else. And then you told yourself repeatedly, I got to repeat these things. I got to do something to make sure I remember. But then you don't always remember. Whereas this time you remembered to repeat them to yourself. So you just kept telling yourself over and over until you got out of the shower. And then you're able to do that. And that was, so yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. And thank you. Thank you. And so there's a lot of classes you want to try to attend today. I also want to work on some videos, so try to balance the two. And work on that fundraiser and the My Story video. Work on those now before the classes start, or actually before Carolyn's session starts. We're probably approaching an hour now. And those are the big things. The classes, and focus on those videos. And get your taxes done by this weekend, but not today because there's a lot of things you want to do. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with how things are going right now. And, keep working on yourself. Keep chipping away at the coaching. Still not entirely sure if I'm procrastinating on that or if this is the balance I'm needing. There are certainly some things, like sometimes I watch some videos that I enjoy, but I could be spending time elsewhere. I haven't been doing that too much this week, I don't think. No, I've just turned some on when I went to bed and then fell asleep within a minute. So I didn't hear them. Well, sometimes. Who cares details? But still. And also the focus back and forth. Keep working on that. But you got this. And to the part of you that is concerned, I understand and I know the concerns, but we can still do this together. You can trust me and you can trust yourself to not get in the way. Okay? You have concerns. Concerns are perfectly fine. Concerns about the future, it's okay. But your concerns go to having concerns that I myself won't be able to handle it. But you've seen plenty of things that we've handled and that we can expand. For instance, the speaking on stage. You know how scared we were for years, even when it was something super important like talking Margot's and Uncle Ross's funerals just to say something, and we were shaking, physically shaking when we got up there, but we thought it was important. Heck, the first time you ever had to talk and present at Genzyme when you were presenting your database stuff, you were scared, and that was just with the managers in a meeting. And then, of course, when you left that and they tried to get you to speak, and but you know how you have been in that speaking class that you took the first semester of college because you knew that, hey, do it in the summer because it's easier in the summer, but you chose that because you knew that that was a weak point. So I'm proud of you for that, because you could have done something else for that elective or semi-elective. I mean, you had to do something, but had a choice of which to do. But you took that class. And yes, when you're doing a speech, you were physically shaking because you were terrified, but you did it. And then you started the videos. And you know how awkward that first videos were. But you've done that. And you've spoken in the WCA, and you've done all these videos, and that's improved your confidence. And now you can go up on the stage in the Toastmasters. Right before, you never would have done that. And even then, your heart still starts pounding, but you're just giving yourself oxygen. It's not. And there's concerns, but you do it amidst your concerns. So it's not just technical things. It's also things that you've been traditionally extraordinarily terrified of. So, point being is I'm giving you examples of times when you know that you've had what it takes and that you have grown and that you have changed and you have become more comfortable with things that you were terrified of. And there's things that you're terrified of now, of not doing well enough as a coach, of wasting people's money, etc. And terrified that you yourself won't be able to handle it. That's really the concern. If it was just concern about, what are we going to do? It's like, I'm not sure what to do, but I know I can handle it. That's one thing. But your concern goes to, what are we going to do? I don't believe I can handle it. It's the faith in yourself. But look at yourself. Look at what you've done. Look at all the things that you've accomplished. You studied abroad in Russia. You got your degree. You overcame the fear of getting into debt for going to school because eventually you kept trying to save up money. You've pushed yourself. You haven't dated many times, but that was also a very terrifying thing for you to do, social anxiety, and you pushed yourself to do those. Right now you're not because of other. It's more because of just, your tendency to get depressed afterwards. So I think I'm past that though, honestly. Now it's just like there's more things that are more important to me right now than dating. Working on myself and getting those things. If something happens, something happens. But that's fine. I'm not going to worry about that. But just examples. And I thought of something a couple times while I've been talking, but I didn't say it, and now it's gone again. So, but look at all of the things that you've done and pushed yourself through those fears. So, and your accomplishments as in QA, you're very well respected there. Even while the entire time you had imposter syndrome, saying, I'm just working hard. I'm not as good as people think I am. And you still did it anyway, even while doubting yourself. So you can do this even while having concerns. But let's try to change that script and stop doubting our own capability, because that just hurts. And that only lets us go a certain amount. But you know that you can go much farther. So have your concerns. I appreciate your concerns, Ken. I appreciate that you don't know what's going to happen, but just let's try to tame that doubt in our own capability to handle it, though, because we can figure it out. Look at all the times we figured things out. Well, that was the other thing I was going to say. Like when I was in Russia, and that class where we had to speak into the microphone, and I just interviewed my Hazaika and my friend. I was afraid of that talking in, but it was just the three of us. It was intimate, so it's cool. But then we had to do it in class. There's only half a dozen people in the class and the teacher. And this is the end of the year. I've been with these people for almost a year at that point. But I was terrified, so terrified that I couldn't speak in Russian because I was talking into a microphone. If it wasn't in the microphone in front of me, I would have been able to talk. We'd been doing that for a while in the class, but that added pressure. You were terrified, absolutely terrified, and you had to go sit back down. You wanted to leave that class. You didn't, but you were close. So another thing of look at where I used to be and look at where I am now. So use these examples. Try to remember these examples when you have doubts in yourself to be able to handle things. And look and say, Ken, okay, I have handled things. I've handled a wide variety of things too. Not just a small little narrow thing. I've handled a wide variety of the things that, it wasn't just that I was comfortable with. I've handled a wide variety of the things that I was uncomfortable with. I put myself into those situations, knowing full well that I was going to be terrified. And then knowing full well probably there's going to be sometimes I wouldn't handle it well. But I put myself in those situations anyway, time and time again through most of my life. And I handled it. Sometimes not perfectly, that's okay. But overall, look where I am. Look where I've gotten to myself too. Gotten us to. Even while all these doubts and fears were there, and trying to hold me back. And often many times it did hold me back. But all the other times I pushed through anyway. So imagine if you shared your concerns about the future, but that you could trust, but understood that you can trust me and you can trust yourself to keep moving forward, and you can trust yourself to not get in the way and make it harder for me. Because I know that's also one of your concerns, is your own concerns are part of your concerns. But we can do this. And I still want to hear the general concerns about, oh, hey, how are we going to do this? I'm not sure. I still want to hear those from you. But we got to learn to look at the past and understand that we can have faith in ourselves to be capable to handle it. And it's okay if sometimes it doesn't go perfectly. Look at some of the other things that's happened in the past where, hey, things didn't go perfectly. Things didn't go as we thought. We're still here. We survived. You know, things sometimes it's made things change, sometimes it's strengthened things. It's okay. That's okay too. And it's always a constant learning process. So keep sharing your concerns about the future, about the uncertainty. It helps keep me to go, okay, hey, these are the things I need to focus on. These are the things that we need to figure out as we're getting there. But when you start doubting yourself, when you start doubting me, look at all the evidence from the past, please. And remember, we can do this. We have faith. We have capability. And I have faith in myself and in you. And I appreciate that you're trying to protect me, Ken. But it's time to let our wings out. Okay? And I'll be working with you more deeply in just a couple weeks during the therapy. So, we got this. Maybe for another mirror work, I'll have another chat like this with that abusive self-shamer. We'll see. Whatever comes to mind at the time. That's how it'll work, right? All right. I love you, Ken. See ya. Have a good day. Bye.